Okay, welcome to the May 2nd Thursday chat. Just to put off any questions, some of you may notice I have a patch on my head and I didn't fall and nobody hit me and I didn't run into a door. I had something removed the size of a dime yesterday and was startled to find I came out with this large bandage. Next week, I'm told it'll be a fraction of the size. Anyway, we have a number of people signed up. Start with Michael Ross.
Thank you, Jerry. Yesterday, the dining committee met for actually over 2 hours in a very healthy discussion about how to optimize our dining program. I want to bring the community up to date on what we were talking about. 3 major areas were discussed: the operations in Centro, Nosh, and Copper Beach. I'm going to focus my comments on Centro, and you'll hear from members of the dining staff later this afternoon, later in the Zoom. We started with a discussion about the rollout of the new menu, looking for feedback. And one of the important new features on the menu was the simply prepared section of the menu. And the comment came up that this is intended to provide residents with the ability to customize their dinner, A and B, however you want it. And what came out of that very clearly was there was an eagerness, a willingness on the part of the staff to help people who want help in understanding how to use this in ordering to get the meal they want. There was also a discussion about the loss of favorites, or things that somebody liked French fries, somebody liked the Caesar salad, and realized that we do rotate every 3 months or so, and the need to bring in new items. What was also clear was that the staff is really looking for feedback, constructive feedback, both about positives and negatives. Basically, what we heard was that the staff wants the independent living residents to enjoy their dining experience, even if this involves replacing an item that perhaps either doesn't live up to their expectations or to their tastes. We talked about the reservation system, which has obviously been a thorn in the side of many of us, myself included. The overall result of this has, for most of us, been a better flow, nonetheless, in getting seated quickly, getting served better, etc. There were several important things that we as residents can and should do to improve this, and I want to mention those. First was the importance of people arriving on time for their reservation and with their full party. The staff can't provide service as planned if people are coming in late, if they're coming in with broken groups. The second problem that came up, and we may hear more about this from them as well, is no-shows. If you made a reservation and don't show up, remember, we're depriving somebody else, another resident, of their opportunity to be served in Centro. The other issue that came up in that same regard was cancellations and partial cancellations. You make a reservation for 4 people, 2 people show up, that's a table for 2 that's going to go unoccupied. Similarly, make a reservation for 6 people and 4 people show up, 2 people aren't going to be seated who couldn't get a reservation. So again, these are things that we can do as residents to help out. As regards Nosh, we had a long discussion. There's an enormous ongoing effort on the part of the staff on how to design this, even as we look in the long term towards a redesign of the physical plant. And I think we're going to hear more about that in the near future. And last, there were some discussions about how we could improve things in Copper Beach. And again, I'm going to defer any comments on that to the members of the staff. bottom line, a close collaboration between staff and residents requires mutual patience and support if we're going to achieve the very best dining experience for ourselves. So those are my thoughts on what transpired at yesterday's dining committee meeting. Jerry, back to you.
Thank you. So Sharon Gouveia.
Hi, everyone. Do you know what is happening this Saturday, May 4th? It is Kentucky Derby Day. So we don't have any racehorse thoroughbreds running around our Newbridge campus, but we do have a pretty smart A blank blank, you fill in the S's, on the premise to challenge your smarts. Join us at 2 o'clock in Great Meadow Hall to guess who it is, what it is, and where it is. There will be food to enrich your brain cells and laughter to help you enjoy the afternoon. See you there. I have one other announcement, and this is a special message from the Wind Down Travel Agency. But first, I have to ask Matt. Matt, where are you? Oh, there you are. Would you block your ears, please? We don't want you to get in trouble with the law. Through some great bargaining feats, we have managed to get very special tickets for Thursday, May 16th, right after this Zoom chat. We're not traveling to any place near or far. We are going back in time. So put on your glad rags as we go back to the roaring 20s and check out a speakeasy. Remember, it is prohibition. Alcohol is illegal. So we will let you know the secret password ahead of time so you can get by the bouncer at the door. Bring your passports along and we will stamp them with our special illegal booze mark. Oh, and by the way, be sure to catch the movie The Great Gatsby, which will be shown on 9/18 to get you in the mood for the roaring 20s. Fasten your seatbelts for a trip back in time. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks. Mitch Freeman.
All right. I sent out an email this morning explaining the correct way to recycle in Newbridge. I gave this talk last week and people approached me a bit confused. So I got it in print. This is the way Republic does their recycling. The main thing I want to point out, it's pretty basic, is when people bring down recycled bottles and cans in a brown bag, you must empty that bag and put those bottles and cans in loose. If you put it in a bag, it goes into landfill. And because Republic does not open bags, even though they're open bags, they do not empty them. So because I ran into one woman, and I was just in the 3000 building a couple days ago in the trash room and doing dumpster diving, and someone had 6 glass bottles all cleaned and washed, sitting in a brown bag. I emptied them out into the thing. Otherwise, they would have gone into the landfill. And I want to go and cereal boxes and all that, just throw them in loose. If you're not sure if it's going to be, can be recycled, throw it in loose. Republic will deal with it on their end, what's recyclable and not. And it was brought up to me about the aids. Now, this is a tough issue. If you have an aid, you have to try and educate them. It might not be easy. There's language barriers and everything else, but you might have to do it more than once to explain it to them. And if a resident is in the trash room and they see an aide not doing it correctly, nicely explain to them and try to explain to them how this works with the thing, with the recycling. That's the basic thing. If you're in doubt, throw it in loose. You cannot put bottles and cans in brown bags and leave them there. When you bring them down, empty it out. I can't emphasize it enough. I saw that over and over again in the 3000 building. So if you have any questions, give me a call. When in doubt, just throw it in loose.
Okay, we have a number of hands raised. We'll start with Marcia Vanicelli.
Hi, yes. Do the cleaning staff who come to our apartments know this? Because they actually, they often take bags of both recycling and trash. And I hope they know, but if not, should we put a sign on every bag or what?
That's a good question. Maybe I'll talk to, who's the woman in charge of housekeeping and try and educate, see if she has a procedure on that. Because most of us aren't around when housekeeping comes in.
Exactly, and I never made the assumption until you brought this up that that those bags that were going might, after all of our careful storing of stuff, might be going into the.
Yeah,
the
if you look
landfill.
into some of the trash rooms, you'll see they're not being done properly. If you look in the bins.
Right.
Marcia, they should be educated on this. I will follow up with Sarah to ensure that they are. Thanks for bringing
Great.
that up.
Okay, is that Terry?
Yeah, I finally was able to get on. I couldn't get through my computer. I couldn't. Anyway, that's beside the point. I just wanted to make a comment to Mitch and thank him for being so diligent and protecting the environment. It's greatly appreciated. But I do want to mention that it isn't necessary to use the brown paper bags to put your other trash in. We have had really nice success because of Sid Giuseppe in repurposing the plastic containers. And we need to do the same thing with paper bags. And they are picked up from the room where the cleaners bring your cleaning in the main building or in the cottage. And they are given to the Dedham Food Pantry, which repurposes them and uses them.
Okay.
So we shouldn't be putting brown paper bags in the trash. The more we can use them and repurpose them, the fewer trees have to be chopped down. So anyway, but thank you, Mitch, for bringing all of this to our attention.
Okay, Mayor Fine.
Yeah, I was just going to add that if you're bringing things to the trash room and have to empty it, if it's a dirty brown paper bag, that's not going to get reutilized. That you can just dump in that same bag.
Well, that's a different story. Yeah.
You shouldn't bring plastic bags down there and dump the plastic bags in. There's a huge sign that says no plastic bags.
Okay, thank you. Mary Jane, did you have your hand raised? Wait, we have to unmute you. Hold on. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead now.
in light of this discussion, I too gotten calls about whether you bottle up the bottles or put them in the bag. And it does seem strange and people want to be very tidy. Again, just dumping everything in loose because of the conveyor belt system that Republic has. Everything is, when all of that is dumped into their portal, it immediately gets sorted. But what I was going to suggest is that I'm happy to make some signs that we can put up in the trash room for the short run. I don't like to clutter up with signs, but just I think is a short intervention that makes the point about not bottling up cans, yogurt, cups or anything like that. So I will do that. I think that will help.
Thank you. Frank? Mark?
Yeah, I guess Mary Jane said this, but rather than trying to educate people as to what can go in bags and what can't, I think what makes much more sense is dump everything. So don't put a bag full of recycling material into the bin, dump the bag. If it's clean, keep it. If it's dirty, throw it in after. That way, when you're teaching the aides and the residents what to do, it's very simple. Don't put a full bag into the bin, dump it. And don't try to teach them what can be left in the bag and what can't, because that always creates ambiguity and uncertainty. So there's no uncertainty. Don't put full bags into the bin.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Rabbi Judy.
Hey, everybody. I have some announcements, and although Passover is over, you've got still plenty of things to be gathering for. On Monday, the 6th of May, is Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Memorial Day, and we'll be having a commemorative service in Great Meadow Hall at 2 o'clock, where we will be lighting candles in memory of the 6 million who perished, and also watching a brief documentary called One Survivor Remembers. The program is expected to be 1 hour long, and I hope that you will attend. If you are at Newbridge, and it's your first year, and I don't know that you have a connection either directly as a survivor or somebody who is next of kin to a survivor, if you would like to participate in the candle lighting part of the service, please contact me so that I'll know, and then you'll come up with others who will be coming to light the candles. So that's the announcement for this Monday. And then for the following Monday is Yom HaZikaron, Israel Memorial Day for Fallen Soldiers. And normally we don't observe that at Newbridge, but considering the circumstances of the year that we're in right now, we will have a service from 4:30 to 5:30 in the synagogue. And at 6 o'clock, we will have a Israel-themed dinner, which requires sign up. It won't be the usual festivities, but it's an occasion to acknowledge and to celebrate in a manner that's possible in a year like this. So you will be seeing a sign up coming out this coming week. So please take a look, and I look forward to seeing you there, as well as many other places around the campus. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Larissa Levitch.
Thank you, Jerry. So I'd like to mention two things. And the first is our spring courses begin this Sunday. And I'd like to remind you how we go about that. So I always give you an opportunity to make a decision whether it is the right class for you after the course, after the first class. So I promised Nancy, who is in charge of making sure that people are charged correctly, that I will make it very clean and clear. So this is a deal. Each of you, no matter what course you are taking, can go to the first class. And after the first class, if you decided that this is not the right class for you, or you overbooked yourself, we need to hear from you momentarily. So to make it very clean, we accept only written cancellation. We want to see an email from you after the first class that states that you are canceling your participation. So we come from the point that every year, every actually semester, when we have our seasonal courses, when the courses are over, this is where it all begins. It is between Nancy and the student and the financial department, these conversations about, but I canceled, or I took only 2 classes. So I'd like to make it a satisfactory and pleasant experience for all of you. And I hope you will help us to maintain the clarity. I hope that there are not going to be any cancellations because all 4 courses are remarkable. I wish I had time. I would have taken all 4, but just wanted to remind you how we would love you to deal with that. So this is number 1. Nancy, did I do a good job? So the second one, I'd like to tell you about special program that is going to happen the week from today, next Thursday. We are fortunate to have a very special guest. Her name is Eden McAdams Sommer, and she is one of today's most exciting and versatile artists. She's a composer, she is a violinist, she is a fiddler, she's on the faculty of New England Conservatory. She composes and improvises, and we are very fortunate that we were able to secure Eden coming to Newbridge with a very expensive program that ranges from classical to Appalachian music to Yiddish songs and fiddling, and actually also dancing a little bit. And the reason that we get this unique opportunity is the fact that a local author whose name is Larry Rootman, and I take it that some of you know the name because Larry has been a staple of Jewish communities, I would say forever. So he wrote a book about local musicians
Okay.
who he had an opportunity to interview, and our own Matthew Cohen is one of them. But
Okay, and let me
Eden
just,
also is
I have
one
to
of
just, I
them.
have to turn this off, okay?
So Larry is gonna come and introduce Eden and even interview her a little bit about her artistic process. We will have a reception. You will have an opportunity to hear an amazing concert, but also ask some questions. So I hope to see many of you next Thursday at this special event. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Josh Ferraro.
Thanks, Jerry. I have a couple of announcements, and I believe Eileen is on, and she might have some additional as well, but pretty brief today. I just want to thank the entire dining committee, both the resident members and the dining team members for meeting and collaborating yesterday, and for Michael today in giving the recap. One of the things that Michael mentioned, feedback is very important, and how to communicate that feedback. There are many ways. If you go to the dining website, there's a resources button that includes all of the contacts of the dining team members. And there's even just a quick form at the bottom where you could submit a question, a query, or feedback, and that email will come to us as well. So whatever is easier for the community when they do have feedback. And of course, in the moment, as the managers, supervisors, and leaders are circumventing the dining rooms, conversations as well. So many ways to provide that feedback. He did explain that there'll be some communications in the next coming week of some exciting changes, both for Copper Beech and for Nosh. We don't have any today to make specifically, but we do have some plans and timelines that are being finalized, and we plan to communicate that. And I just wanted to thank those residents that have seen the new Nosh order form when ordering electronically through the dining website. We are seeing some residents already utilizing that form. I make myself available to anyone with the new look if they have questions, comments, or feedback, or just want a quick tutorial. We see a lot of activity in people ordering the Centro dinners to go using the electronic form on the dining website, not so much on the Nosh, and we would like to. That can be very convenient. You don't have to worry about calling and not being answered, getting a busy signal, or the whatnot. So if anybody would like any kind of support or a tutorial, make myself available. My team members are available to show you that process. And I want to thank some of the residents who have already tested it, provided feedback, and are using it. Mayor Fine, thank you. Had sent him the link ahead of time, and he went through it and made some suggestions before it even went live. So. With that, Jerry, I just wanted to again say thank you. And Eileen, I think you have a couple of announcements as well.
Go ahead, Eileen.
Thank you, Jerry, Josh. Hi, everybody. It's great to see you all today. So just a few announcements that Sunday is Cinco de Mayo. So we will have a Cinco de Mayo themed menu for Nosh on Sunday night. After that, we have opening now, Mother's Day brunch up in Centro, which is on May 12th. So you need to hurry up because the reservations are almost full. So you need to hurry up with that because that's almost full up. The day after is in Israel Independence Dinner. And we also have that, and that is on May 13th. Doors open, we open it from 4:30 to 5:30, the services, and then we will have a dinner at 5:45. And please try and register with that as soon as possible. There is limited space. And then also on May 16th, we also have our wind down, and it is after this Zoom call. So if you have any questions, let us know. And that's it really for now. So we have enough things going on. I hope you enjoy, and I hope we see you on Sunday, and we hope we see you soon. Thank you.
Any questions before we move on to Matt? All right, you're on, Matt.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Thank you, Eileen. The big news of the week, and I think a lot of you have heard this already, was our CEO, Steve Landers, tendered his resignation. And this is the HSL CEO. He tendered his resignation, I'm told, for personal reasons. I think most of us know that he's been traveling from New Jersey Monday through Friday, spending the week here in Boston. He's got 3 boys in school, all at home. And I'm sure that transitioning to Boston was incredibly difficult. So as disappointing as that news was, you know, a little bit understandable. Family does come first. At the same time, it was followed by some great news, which is that our former CEO, Lou Wolf, will be returning in an interim role to help guide us through this. So it's been interesting from a work standpoint. Personally, I really liked Steve Landers quite a bit. He was great to work with. We were getting a lot of really neat stuff done. So personally, I'm a little disappointed because, you know, I really liked him. Things were going really well. At the same time, as a father myself, I can completely understand the stress that he must have been under transferring here to Boston and being away from his family. Along the same lines, having Lou return is like having an old friend return. Somebody I know really well, trust really well, does a phenomenal job. He's very engaged. And I think for those of you that have relationships with Lou, you know that to be the case as well. So I just wanted to put that out there here in the Zoom chat today. HSL is an incredibly strong organization. Our executive leadership team is phenomenal. The people that work on that level are people that, you know, I look up to every single day, and they're just good citizens, just great people doing good work, trying really hard to move the organization forward. So between having those folks running the organization and Lou Wolf returning, HSL is going to be in fantastic shape. So I just want to pause there for a moment, Jerry, see if anybody has any questions or thoughts or anything specifically they'd like to touch on.
Don't see anybody.
Okay. Vaccination clinic happened yesterday. It was a great success. We had 180 vaccinations given, which is pretty incredible. And it was really efficient. It was done early. And the efficiency of that, just to throw a little kudos out there, goes to Mark Blajewski and Joe Zagalis. They did a ton of behind the scenes work, getting everybody's paperwork together, getting the schedules filled out, making sure everybody was communicated with, communicating with the pharmacy, making sure they were ready to go. You know, I like to highlight some of those unsung heroes once in a while. Mark and Joe, they did an absolutely incredible job with that. So thank you to those fellas. The water at the gardens has been turned on today. We are in the process of turning on the irrigation around the entire campus. That takes a little bit of time. For those of you that had irrigation in your own residential homes, you turn it on and sometimes it works flawlessly, and sometimes you have broken heads, sometimes you have broken controllers. So they're going through them one by one. So hopefully in a couple weeks, that'll be up and running absolutely everywhere. But you'll start to notice that the water is flowing. So that's good news. That means spring is officially here. I'm really happy about that. I'm going to stop again for a second for any questions.
No.
All right, continuing on. A one-stop shop reminder. One-stop shop, you can put in a work ticket one of two ways. You can either call 4-9500, or you can put it in through the Touchtown app. Now, once that work order is put in, most likely Josephine Sullivan will reach out to you or somebody from the team to schedule an appointment within 24 hours. We are really fortunate here that oftentimes it's far faster than 24 hours, or somebody just shows up and fixes it, or somebody calls you back 10 minutes later. But the expectation of that team, just so everybody is clear, is that they have 24 hours. We run into a little bit of trouble sometimes because we do such a good job that if we have something happening on campus that draws everybody's attention to that space, let's say a flood, an elevator, a large punch list for that given day, then sometimes people become a little bit restless and they're saying, how come they're not calling me back? How come this person hasn't shown up? What are we doing? What's happening here? Our goal is to always get to you as fast as possible, but a little bit of patience would be greatly appreciated, particularly with the one-stop shop. That is incredibly helpful. The other element to one-stop shop is even after we go up there, sometimes we have to order parts. And it's not like it was pre-COVID. It's not, you reach out to a vendor, they send you the part, it's here the next day. Unfortunately, inventories have just become incredibly different. I wouldn't say challenging, just different. It's just a different process. And we're a little bit at the mercy of that. And so that's a very real thing. And I just wanted to share that piece with you all. I do see a hand raised.
Right, Marcia. Then
Hi, yeah.
Hi, Marcia.
Would it be possible to have an email also, as well as a phone number for One Stop? Because it seems like people can do a run-on message and you're never clear at the end whether you really said what you needed to. I'm one of those. It's
Okay.
much easier for me to write an email, and there's no email on there.
So I'm going to ask Fernando to speak to that. My experience in the past is that because of the HSL firewall, which has to do with our email system here, emails that were being sent to that address were being kicked back. And although it sounds like a very simple fix, for some reason, we haven't been able to figure that one out. Fernando, I'd like to call on you for a moment, not only to talk about that if you can, but additionally talk about the wipes.
Yeah, that's true what you said, Matt. It's an IT issue where you can't get through the firewall. But if you do go to the Touchtown app, it does put in a work order. It automatically generates, it goes right to Josie. I would like to talk to you folks about an issue that arose this week, twice actually. On Monday and on Thursday, we had a sewer backup into a residence apartment in the 3000 building. We could not clear it, so we brought in the drain company. And on both days, we pulled out an exorbitant amount of flushable wipes. You cannot flush wipeable flushes down the toilets here. We have miles of piping and it's just not conducive to flushable wipes. The only thing we should be putting down the toilets are toilet paper. So I would appreciate it, because I don't think anybody on this call would like it if, it was their apartment that the sewer is backed up into. So we did send out a voice friend to the 3000 building where it did happen, but I'm just like to remind all of you, please do not flush anything down the toilets except for toilet paper. Thank you.
I think Rona Goodman had her.
Yeah, I can't find out where I raise my hand, so I'm just raising it like this. So I just want to give kudos. I mean, this is a Newbridge word, kudos, to Bob Walsh of the security department. He was incredible to me. He spent 2 hours here with me because the internet did not connect for me over the weekend. And since I'm alone, that's like, I can't begin to tell you, it's almost like suicide, not having an internet and a telephone. And he spent time with me, and they were supposed to come in the next day. And then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, it went on. And he's been a good guy. He's probably got that from heaven, that because he's so good that they just turned it on at Comcast, because Comcast was going to come, but they couldn't come until sometime on Sunday night. So he was incredible. What a nice man he is. I just wanted to give him kudos. Is that the right word?
That's a great word. We love it. Thank you for sharing that, Rona.
Incredible he is. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then the last piece I just have for everybody is, as we talk about see something, say something, we have been getting residents reaching out with concerns, whether it be erratic driving or maybe somebody that is expressing some strange behavior. When that happens, the sooner you can call, the better. because our security team can address it in real time. And it makes it a lot easier for us to really figure out what's going on, as opposed to going back and reconstructing all the pieces and doing an investigation. So if you see somebody speeding, driving erratically, doing something dangerous behavior, questionable behavior, please let security know as close to real time as possible. It will help us a great deal. It really will.
Thanks. Sid Josephi.
Hi, Matt, just to continue our conversation
Please.
about the speed bump. Were you aware of that? I don't know if other people noticed.
So I was aware because my friend Mitch Freeman brought it up to me. The old speed bump used to be there as well, and you can tell because it's actually cemented into the sidewalk, which is, they just put a new sign on the post that happened to be there. So at the suggestion of Mitch, what we're looking into is actually changing the road markings. There's actual Department of Transportation advanced warning road markings for speed bumps. And so we're looking at putting those advanced road warnings on the actual roadway leading up to the speed bump. We're also looking at reflective tape on the sign itself, so you can see it as you near it. And Will Kent is evaluating whether that sign is appropriate for that location or not. But it's a little crazier than just sticking a new sign or just moving it. It's actually the concrete sidewalk.
Yeah, it was just amusing, like how much warning do you need before you have a speed bump?
I thought it was funny that we didn't notice it until the sign changed either. But the other one closer to campus is in a much better location.
Yes, yeah.
But
that is.
You were absolutely correct, Sid. That's a weird one.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Fine.
I would also recommend that you use the reflecting paint on the white stripes on the leading edge of those speed bumps so that they show up, especially at night, because you'll get the retro back from your headlights.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Okay. Any other questions? Don't see any. Do you have any other thoughts, Matt?
No, I just want to wish you all a wonderful week. Thank you for all the support. And I know I haven't been around physically out in the spaces too much lately. It's just been a really busy time. I promise you it's not my desire. I would much rather be out there with you than doing the stuff I've been doing lately. But as with any jobs, you know, things go up, things go down. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you. So we'll see you next week.